Hey everybody, my name is Dan Goronsky. I'm a senior here at Eau Claire, and I just want to welcome everybody to the student debate tonight. I just want to give a special thanks to the IGA Commission on Student Senate, and especially to Director Paige Overby for helping out, and also to the Public Relations Committee and Student Senate and the Director Am Sorrell for helping pass out flyers and stuff like that. I'd also like to personally thank Professor Mistorovich for being here and moderating this, and a special thanks to Boo Mara, Gretchen Mall, and Jody Thessinger for helping me set this up tonight. So if we want to welcome up the debaters, if they want to all come up. Representing the Democrats tonight, we have Jake Johnson. Representing Independents, we have Boo Mara and Adam Sorrell. And representing Republicans, we have Bobby Hamill and Bethany Orr. We're going to hand the mic over to Professor Mistorovich now. He's going to kind of lay down some ground rules for everybody and enjoy the debate. So.
Okay, the first ground rules are for the audience. You're here to listen and to learn. Later on, you'll be able to ask questions after they're done debating. During that time, you'll be respectful, not get excited, not clap, scream, laugh, or sigh, like someone did a few years ago, and pay attention. After some coin flipping and flipping out, the way this is going to work is I'm going to start out the first round through with the Independents, and then the Democrat, and then the Republicans, and each group, you guys decide how long you want to spend on it, either together or separately. Same with you. You can do it with your, split personality. And you'll have 90 seconds to deal with the question. After that, there'll be a 45-second follow-up. And if I deem it interesting enough, and you guys seem to have something going, I'll let you address each other very quickly and respectfully to make a final last point if you want to. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, the first question to the Independents is rather simple. We've been watching it now for a few days. The government, somebody made a joke that we're all socialists now. But the issue is the economic problems we've been having on Wall Street and with the banks and the bailouts. My question for you is, what is the best plan of action, not only for the government to take in the context of our financial institutions and our banks, but also for the regular folks on Main Street, business people, homeowners, people wanting to buy a home? What do you think is the best plan of action?
Well, if you notice right away, we only bailed out Wall Street, saying as we need to bail out Main Street as well. As you also noticed, the first time the bill was put through, it didn't go through because there wasn't any pork, something that the right is known for. So I think definitely one of the things that we need to do to address these mortgages, to be able to refinance them, give people in homes the ability to go ahead and try to pay for these homes. Also, we need to set up what we think is a 90-day moratorium, just so you can't take people out of their homes while they're trying to get back on their feet.
Definitely. I also think that we should have the Treasury Secretary use the powers that were guaranteed in this bill to renegotiate these mortgages at these fixed prices. In that way, people will be able to pay them instead of having a subprime mess. So I definitely agree.
Great. I agree with everything the Independents have said.
Back off farther.
I'll say thank you. As does the majority of Democrats, mostly. Senator Obama was running for president. His plan basically calls out all those ideas. The 90-day moratorium is important so that people who are trying to pay for their loans don't get kicked out as they try to find the money for it. It's interesting to point out that we've lost 760,000 jobs this year. And 80% unemployment is projected by the year 2009. That will only go up because, unfortunately, there aren't many jobs being founded. But what we can do is look to things that always produce jobs, which is, unfortunately, government work, which is infrastructure building, things like building new roads, rebuilding our bridges so they don't fall down, and things such as that are important that always require to be done and always need to be done. Those jobs are available right now, and if we continue to do that, we can possibly create or save 1 million jobs over the next year. This idea is something that actually helps America on every level, because it not only helps small businesses who could take some of those projects, large businesses who can help fund them, but also your average everyday person who's trying to work and pay that mortgage off or pay that student loan off. They could find that job in construction that's going to be there, it's going to be paid very well.
Thank you, Dr. Mr. Rogers, first off for moderating this. You've always been a great professor, and I'm sure you'll be a great moderator as well. I think
You paid me $5. I wanted to see if the audience would respond and break the rules, and they just did.
Yep, that's what I do. Well, I think you definitely agree. You know, in dealing with this, we have to look at Main Street as well as Wall Street. I think the biggest thing, I mean, we gave a bailout. The Democratic and Republican Congresses both jointly gave a bailout to these big businesses. I think that's something that they should have taken a second look at. Should have not just bailed out these big mortgage companies and loan companies, but should have actually looked at what kind of action can be taken to actually help with people on the Main Street that are struggling to pay these mortgages. I mean, in dealing with the future, we have to look at having some more regulation over especially these big government entities like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that the government has a huge hand in, and that we're not just going to jump in on a whim and just bail these people out. But at the moment, I think that it's good that we kind of took it one step at a time. We're starting to look at both sides, and I think it's something that we're going to have to just be a lot more cautious with in the future.
I think we need to understand that this is not a problem this is not always just a problem of the free market. This is a problem of our government as a whole and failing to work together. And we need more bipartisanship in our Congress. And this problem has occurred because we have failed to address this problem, which we should have years ago. And putting Obama in the White House, who has exhibited rarely any bipartisanship at all and is divided by strictly party discipline, is not going to solve that problem.
Okay, 45 seconds apiece. We'll jump the order. You can respond.
Sure. Interestingly, talk about bipartisanship. Bipartisanship would have worked in the last 8 years if the Republicans who had control of Congress for those 6 years had worked with the other side, but instead, the president had used one veto, which was on stem cell, which is the least amount of vetoes used in the history of the presidential veto. What that means is that we're passing legislation that benefits him, but not the Democrats, but because they didn't have the majority to, or even a small minority, to stop this process, the Republicans passed what they wanted to. And it's interesting to point out that she points out that Senator Obama would not have the ability to work with bipartisan support. Then how does he get things done in the Senate? How does he work with other parties on the ideas of the idea that it's important that we should look at immigration reform and healthcare reform and actually doing things that work with both sides? Because the issues he's talking about affect everybody. So obviously there's going to become bipartisan support. And that bipartisan support comes inside the Senate, which Senator McCain has been part of for 27 years. It just seems to point out that bipartisanship is a problem on every level of government. Whoever is president is going to have to deal with it. So whoever doesn't will have to solve that problem.
There's a fundamental. Okay, thank you. Basically, there's a fundamental flaw that I have with the right in terms of trying to say that this is a bipartisan problem. This is a problem of lack of oversight that John McCain has definitely been a catalyst for throughout the late 90s and into the early 2000s. Him along with Dick Lugar actually put through some legislation that lifted the oversight on Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, letting the laissez-faire free market do its course. But we've all realized that as long as there's personal interest in these, it's never going to work. So the main reason that this failed was because of the lack of oversight. And I think now that we're putting this $700 billion bailout in, obviously with some provisions for more oversight, obviously you can see the right is starting to creep a little bit more to the center in terms of having more of a socialist approach.
First of all, I do agree with Obama, that we do need more transparency and oversight over these investing banks that are handing out loans to people that should not be eligible for them. And that is what this ultimately comes down to.